Today we are going to see how to build a SAP enterprise grade, secure and seamless experienced conversational user interface across business application using SAP Conversational AI. As you know, SAP FIORI brings great user experience to enterprise applications based on user role and business processes. SAP FIORI simplifies doing business. And here, SAP Conversational AI adding the utmost superiority on top of it. Now let's check out a quick demo here on SAP Conversational AI's conversational user experience as a web client that is integrated within SAP FIORI Launchpad and becomes an integral part of business applications where user can interact with the conversational bots in their own natural language and do the regular business activity with more convenient way of doing business. So before going into the details of implementation and required configurations, let's see what are the prerequisites here. So the prerequisites should be SAP Cloud Foundry sub-account, the SAML 2.0 identity provider, and Web Dispatcher 7.53 with the latest patch as an infra. And we need to have the permissions on FIORI Launchpad Designer as admin and admin permission on SAP Cloud Foundry security role. So here you can see we have three different boxes, like here the SAP Cloud Foundry where we have to do the initial configurations. Secondly, we have to do certain configurations and setup in SAP ABAP frontend server. And lastly, we have to use the conversational AI web client as a channel. So if you look into the SAP Cloud Foundry, there first of all we have to whitelist the APIs that we'll be going to use as part of our conversational AI bot. The most important thing is we have to have a subscribed conversational AI in our Cloud Foundry sub-account. We'll see the details in our subsequent section. And now in our SAP ABAP frontend server, there we have to do certain configuration in the Web Dispatcher part as well as the FIORI Launchpad Designer part. And at last, definitely we have to use the channel of web client to enable this web client as part of the FIORI Launchpad. Okay, so let's check the detailed version of the prerequisites here. The Cloud Foundry sub-account. As an infra prerequisites, we have to have the SAML 2.0 identity provider as well as the Web Dispatcher 7.53 with the latest patch. And the important point here is we have to have the identity provider trust enabled with our SAP Cloud Foundry sub-account as well as the same ABAP frontend server that we are going to use. As we have discussed earlier, we have to have the admin permissions for our SAP Cloud Foundry security role as well as we have to have permissions to do the configurations in our FIORI Launchpad Designer. So now let's check out the configurations option for whitelisting the APIs. Why we have to do the whitelisting of APIs? The main reason is the SAP Conversational AI web client runs inside the iframe. And for security reason, our SAP Cloud Foundry authentication service prevents logon page from being embedded in an iframe element unless the origin domains are whitelisted. So what are the origin domains? So you will be using multiple domains SAP Conversational AI bot for doing different GET and POST call. Maybe like you will be using the reverse proxy in your conversational UI bot. So before using the reverse proxy or any other domain, you have to whitelist those APIs. Now let's see how to do the whitelisting of those APIs. So there are 3 steps to whitelist the APIs. So these steps are little bit complex here, but I hope in future SAP will come up with the simplified steps for whitelisting those APIs. First of all, we have to get the OAuth token. How to get the OAuth token? You can get the details from the mentioned note. And after getting the OAuth token, we'll go for on get call service. Maybe like we can use Postman or any other REST client to do the get call. Here, as mentioned, we have to use this dynamic URL for our get call service. There we'll be using our generated OAuth token in our previous step, and here we'll be getting the tenant specific XSUA setting. So in that tenant specific XSUA setting, we'll be having a JSON object. There we'll be getting the iframe domains. So iframe domains are nothing but the domains.apis that we have to whitelist in our next step. So in the next step and the last step, we are going for one patch operation. There we will be using the same OAuth token and the JSON object that we got as part of the iframe domains. And after doing so, we are ensuring of whitelisting those APIs. Now as part of the next step, configuring in SAP Cloud Foundry, we have to subscribe the conversational AI from the marketplace of SAP Cloud Foundry sub-account. So after subscribing the SAP Conversational AI, we can get the application link of the same, and we have to note down that application link so that we can use in our next step. So in our next step, we'll be using the application link as a subscription path in our reverse proxy setting. So now let's see the detailed configuration steps in our ABAP frontend server. So here you can see we are using the subscription path that we have obtained from our previous step, and we are using it for our configuration in the web dispatcher. And now we have to follow this 4 step to enable the web client in our FIORI launchpad. So what are those steps? Let us see. The first step is we have to create a catalog the same way we generally do catalog creation for our standard FIORI application. So we have to go to the FIORI launchpad designer. There we can create a new catalog, and after creating the new catalog, we have to go to the target mapping and do the target mapping for the new catalog. And to do the target mapping, we have to use the exact values of the parameters mentioned here. So the semantic object should be the shell, the action should be the plugin, the application type should be the SAP UI5 FIORI app, the URL and ID should be the exact same mentioned here. And after having the catalog and target mapping ready, we can go to our frontend server, ABAP frontend server, we can create a new role using the PFCG transaction and assign the same catalog that we have created in our previous steps. Now assign the role to the relevant users. Now it's time to enable the web client as a SAP CAI channel. So obviously you have your bot ready in SAP Conversational AI platform, and you can go to the channels section of it and can create a new SAP Conversational AI Web Client to enable the web client in the FIORI Launchpad. So what are the benefits here with using the SAP Conversational AI Web Client in FIORI Launchpad Designer? There are lots of benefits. Benefits are there will be a seamless user experience with using this SAP Conversational AI within the FIORI Launchpad. You don't have to think on the single sign-on or the login mechanism here, because login mechanism and single sign-on is automatically being provided by SAP with the standard mechanism here. So as a note, we have to keep in mind like this SSO feature is only available for enterprise users of SAP products to access this conversational AI web client.